Well, this day didn't turn out like I expected in more ways than one. Well, the day started out like pretty much any other day. Woke up, decided to come down to the computer, check how things were working, and check Discord. And this morning, I knew that there were some possibilities of some releases, whether it be at Microcenter or at Best Buy for 5090s. And I noticed that there was an announcement within the Discord. It's an unofficial Microcenter Discord. So within that Discord, there was an announcement. It wasn't under the stock announcements like it usually is. It was actually in the general chat. And they said that they had 5 at Westmont. I was like, damn, and it's like 8:30 at this point. I'm like, damn, that's probably not going to work. And sure enough, about 25 minutes after that, they were already all spoken for. So that was pretty much out. But there was another person who was just standing in line as a good Samaritan for other people. And there were 4 other people that this person was specifically standing in line for. And none of them decided that they wanted it. And I kind of saw that coming. So I was like, hey, if nobody else wants it, I'll take it. I'm an hour away. And sure enough, the last person said no. And the person said, Max, if you want it, it's yours. I'm like, cool. So this person wasn't asking for anything in return, but they said, hey, if you got some extra computer parts that you're willing to part with, I won't say no. I was like, cool. So gathered up that plus a $25 Starbucks gift card that my wife had gotten. She doesn't go to Starbucks anymore. So we gave that as well, which worked out great because this person loved Starbucks. So the person was very, very happy when I got there, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So I drove there not knowing for sure whether or not I was going to be able to get the 5090. And so I got there, found the person, and immediately the person hands me the voucher. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So I went to go grab a power supply and then went to go check out, handed the person the voucher. Person, comes up, checks me out. Everything's good. The one thing I will mention is they no longer have the 24-month financing that they had at the very beginning of the 5090 release. So that was kind of a bummer. But since I just sold all the GPUs, I had the cash to pay for it. So probably was better. Got 5% off the whole thing. So it works out. And then we went out to the car and I grabbed in the box of stuff, showed him the $25 gift card. Basically it was printed out on a piece of paper. But showed him that. He was very happy. So we were all good. And now I drove home. So now what I'm going to go through is the unboxing that I've already done. This is take 2. And of course you would guess I had it on mute. So I'm going to do a voiceover of the unboxing. So I was originally trying to figure out where the opening was, but then I figured out the whole thing kind of folded open. So there were just these 2 pieces that I needed to cut. Sorry, I don't have sound effects like altered component. Sorry, it's the best I could do. And then that piece just flips up. And then I realize, oh, this thing's just an outer piece. This whole thing in the middle comes out. So that's pretty cool. Definitely creative in the way that they have it packaged, having the nice, like plasticky outer sheathing, that really, really protects it while having cardboard, which is going to be more protective from, bumps and things like that. But yeah, you can see how shiny it is. Looks really nice. But let's get to the main event. And here I have it upside down. So I'm thinking that it's opening this way for whatever reason, even though the handle's on the other side. I'm an idiot. It's late. So hence the reason why I'm doing take 2 on this. And then basically it just opens up, and then to gaming and beyond. Yes, it sounds like Buzz Lightyear. Definitely a play on those words. I don't know. It's just basic documentation. It does have this. It's not a sticker. It ends up being like a stand. Like you basically like that thing right there. Um, you have to basically it's got perforations and stuff. So the outside portion acts as a stand while the inside portion just acts like kind of like a figurine type of thing. But anyway, I thought it looked kind of cool. It's got kind of like the 3D effect to it. So you can see there, you basically take the outside of the top and then you just fold it down so it holds it up. So let's put that away and eventually get to the main event. It's interesting how this thing's like a clamshell. You know, it opens up the one way, then it opens up the other way. Then you've got this nice protective piece. So it's nice packaging. So on the bottom, you have the two pieces that make up the GPU bracket holder. So it's a GPU holder if you're putting it in the horizontal position. I will not, so I will not be using that. Now that is the cable adapter. The cable adapter is like the old kind, real stiff cabling instead of the flimsy cabling that comes with the newer stuff. I think that's going to be more prone if you try to bend it. That's going to be more prone to having issues. So I will not be using that. I'm going to be using the one that comes with the power supply, and I'll show you which power supply I chose here later on here. Oh, and that actually isn't part of it. That's actually a cable that is for RGB. So you actually plug that from the GPU itself into the motherboard so that the motherboard will control the coloring of the lights on the GPU. But I could care less. I won't be using that. Definitely won't be using that. All right, let's get to the main event. And definitely heavy, definitely big. Definitely big. I'm like, you know what? Let's get this box out of the way. Kind of just in the way at this point. And it's a nice looking GPU. It's a really nice looking GPU. Those metal pieces on the fans look so nice. They actually pick up really well on camera as well. But yeah, the gold on top, it's really like no other GPU I've seen. I haven't really seen gold used very much on GPUs, but you can see where that's the BIOS switch right there. But you can see just to the left of that is where the ARGB cable would go in, which was an odd place to put it. Right in the middle, a white cable going over a really nice looking GPU. Yeah. Unless of course it's going to go up, and I guess it probably would go up because that's where it's going to plug into the motherboard. But still an odd color choice, I would say, for that. And I had to do the Panda Flick, but those it's metal. It's like metal embossing. It's almost like they're laser etched. But it's raised. But I don't know. I think it's a really, really sharp look to the GPU. There you go. Now it looks right. Of course, they're supposed to spin. But yeah, definitely big, very tight fins. So it should cool well. At least I hope it does. Because it's going to run at like 575 watts. And then has a nice emblem on the front faceplate as well. That's a nice touch. And one of the plugs came out. Not that way. Turn it around. But yeah, looks really, really sharp. So last thing I do want to go over is basically how much do we think that this is going to make. Actually, before I do, talking about, it's got nice blow-through design. It'll blow out the back. It'll also blow out the top and the bottom, and then also out the front faceplate. And look at that density on the back of the processor for components. This is such a dense PCB. But yeah, it looks really, really sharp. So with all that said, let me take you into what the current profitability looks like for this card on Vast, because that's where I'm going to put this. It'll be on Vast. Oh, actually, before we get to the Vast part of it, I also wanted to show you the power supply. So I had a choice between 1,000-watt power supply that was a Seasonic that was platinum, or a 1,200-watt gold that was made by Tough. Although it's not really made by Tough, it is actually made by Seasonic, I believe. There's two main really good power supply manufacturers. It's Superflower and Seasonic. I prefer Seasonic. And I know from the cables that I've seen in other Asus Tough power supplies, they're very similar to the Seasonic, if not the exact same. So I went with the 1,200 watt, wanted a little bit more of a buffer for the GPU. I actually have 1,050 on a 3090 currently, but decided just to get a brand new one, make sure the cabling matched up, that it was the latest spec for it, so I didn't run into any issues. All right, with all that said, now let's get to the profitability for the for Vast. All right, here I've pulled up all the statistics on the 5090s that are currently on Vast. So there's 234, of which 150 are verified. So they are continuing to verify these. It probably would only take, I'm guessing, about 2 weeks to get it verified, as long as it met the criteria, but I've been able to get other things verified. So I'm hoping that I'm able to get it verified. But for unverified, yeah, it's pretty unexciting. You're talking about the median is 21 cents an hour for a $3,000 GPU. That's going to take quite a bit. We're talking like ASIC time to pay back, not AI power time to pay back, which you're hoping to get 12 months or less. Now, if we look at verified, which I'm hoping that we'd be able to get this verified, then the price is closer to the minimum price, is like 37 cents, 38 cents, while the median is at 55 cents approximately. Now, I have talked to other people that have their stuff on Vast. Single GPUs, probably not going to be able to get 50 cents. That's mainly like multiple GPU ones. So I'm hoping to get somewhere between 40 and 45 cents once I get verified. So one of the strategies I use in order to get verified is you have to not have an on-demand job, because if you do, they can't run the test to verify you. So the idea is that you run with a super high on-demand price, where it's like go away pricing. But hey, if somebody wants to rent you at that price, you're not really going to care, because eventually you'll still get verified. So run at a super high, and then your interruptible price you set at a lower level, so that at least you're rented, and that you might be making some money. But if Vast wants to test it, they can interrupt that job in order to run the test to find out whether or not you qualify to be verified. So that is what I'll be doing, but it'll be nice. I mean, if you look at it, like right around 42 cents, subtracting power, would give me a break-even point of 12 months. So not too bad. Like I said, I used money that I used from paying off, or not paying off, but selling GPUs, and use that money, some of that money, to buy this GPU. I'm hoping I can get one more 5090, hoping that there'll be a Best Buy drop at some point that I'll be able to take advantage of. Fingers crossed. That's all I got for you today. I appreciate you guys coming to check out the 5090, and thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you like this kind of content, please hit the like and subscribe below the screen, and I will see you next time. And no tabs were harmed in the making of this video.